Hey everybody, welcome back to more Pokémon FireRed. This is your captain speaking. And last time we got the first gym badge from Gym Leader Brock. And, that was pretty easy. It took like a total of 2 minutes. And this time we're going to be finishing up Route 3 if all goes according to plan. I need to shift Pikachu in front here. I'm not going to shift Pikachu in front yet because I want Kakuna to hurry up and evolve. Oh, this guy was from Viridian Forest. You want another round? Actually, I always wonder if this is like actually like some person that you could like talk to in Viridian Forest. Like I don't think he's like a trainer that you saw there by any means, but that'd be interesting. But yeah, this is honestly one of my least favorite sections of the game just because like none of the Pokemon here are like any fun to challenge because it's all the same crap. Like it's just bugs and birds and there's nothing interesting. It's mostly just bugs. Like it's not exciting at all. So much so that I'm really hoping we can get through this whole route without anything like really slowing. I maybe should have switched out, like slowing anything down because I'm really just yeah, I'm gonna switch out. I'm really wanting to just get this route over with because like at least Mount Moon will be a new cave that we can explore that's going to be interesting. This is just a real slop fest, It is not exciting. It is the boringest of the boring. But, we just gotta tackle on through, I guess. I'm probably gonna have to run back to the Pokemon Center because I don't want to waste a potion just to, do all that. Oh, level 9. See, I'm not crazy about Pikachu's stats there. His attack is slightly higher, or her attack is slightly higher, and I don't like that at all. Granted, that happens a lot with Raichus and Pikachus just because, like, their attack and special attack stat isn't too far apart from each other. So it can be pretty common. I'm just going to switch to onions. It can be pretty common that, it will, the attack will go up higher. It all really kind of just depends on your nature. And I'm not really, I don't know the natures, like, off the top of my head. Other than, I think Adamant is like an attack raising, special attack lowering. I could be completely wrong about that. But I can kind of explain natures to some extent. So each Pokemon you catch is unique because every Pokemon has its own like little stat distribution due to its nature and just depending on the Pokemon it attacks. We'll get a Beedrill in a second. Like, each Pokemon you attack gives off some kind of an effort value of sorts. So it's like, unless you literally generate a Pokemon via ROM hacking, no two Pokemon can be the same unless you're cheating. And that's what's really fun about Pokemon to me, is like, each journey is really, like, exclusive to your own. And, that's what it's just really cool to me. So, I'll explain the natures in detail. Or not in detail, because I'm probably just going to throw it up on screen of what each nature does. But basically, for example, we'll pull up Onions here. He has a hasty nature, and that affects his stats. And it seems to be a special attack raising nature, just if I were to guess. But there's a whole chart, like on Bulbapedia or Pokemon Database. Either one of them are good resources. I use Pokemon Database a lot just to research movesets that I like or want, because you can search it by which Pokemon learn which move in which generation. It's super nice. And I like Bulbapedia too, but like it has a more frustrating user interface just because it's slower. Whereas Pokemon Database, it's like you can zoom through that shit so fast. Yeah, I have to look up wiki charts to play these games. This is real shit. But in all seriousness, yeah, a nature can affect your Pokemon stats in a major way. I think I said adamant earlier. You really did that much damage to me? Oh, screw you, Rattata. He's gonna do it again too. Oh, nope, he didn't use it. Shit, it might kill me next turn. Let's just switch him out. So for example, Adamant, I believe I mentioned it earlier. I think Adamant lowers your special attack points gained and raises attack, or it might be the other way around. But either way, that's how it works, is when you level up, depending on your Pokemon's nature, one stat will be more focused on when distributing stats via level up than the other. So, you know, Pikachu here might have a nature that might be more focused on giving him points in attack. And since their attack and special attack aren't too far apart, you know, we very well might end up with a Raichu that does better physical attacking moves than special attacking, which is not my preference, honestly. It is really not my preference. And we are kind of in a bind right here. Ekans just used Wrap, a move that is just going to prevent us from... We can't... I can't switch Prolapse out into Onions because it's a wild sentence. Because, well, he's stuck. Moves like that, I've never really been a huge fan of. Like, they don't really do any good damage. Like, I think the only ones that are even really worth it are like Whirlpool and Fire Spin, which kind of do the same thing, do little damage over time, and, you know, prevents you from leaving the arena. They're so situational, and it just doesn't feel worth it to me. Like, it doesn't do enough damage to justify all of this. But that Rattata using Quick Attack a minute ago and it doing so much damage to me, I think it can honestly be a good little teaching thing. But more accurately, I guess Pikachu would be a good example of it. This was something that I learned a few years ago. It's always advantageous to get moves that match your Pokemon's type. For example, Pikachu's pure electric type. So, teaching Pikachu an electric move kind of just sounds right? Oh, see, okay, their stats are closer now. So you would think, okay, an electric type can learn electric moves. Most of the time, you'd be surprised at how many don't. But Pikachu has an actual advantage to using electric type attacks. Besides the critical hit, ignore that. Prolapse is doing pretty good though. So, Thundershock, if it was being used by a Pokemon like, let's say, I don't really know a lot of Pokemon that can use Thundershock, but we'll just use a Pokemon like Clefairy, normal type in this generation Pokemon. If Clefairy could learn Thundershock, it would do a decent amount of damage, especially if it was like, you know, super effective against a type. And that would be great. But Pikachu using Thundershock would do much more damage because it is what is considered a stab move. Same type attack bonus, which adds like a little multiplier into it, where it's like, if the move used matches the type, it will do more damage. So there's always an advantage of, you know, teaching a Pokemon type, teaching Pokemon moves that reflect its type. It's a bonus, you know? And I've always been somebody that, like, gets really frustrated. I'll teach him Quick Attack. It's not terrible. It's a priority move. It does, like, I'll keep Tail Whip for now. It does 40 damage, but it's always going to go first unless another Pokemon is using a priority move. Like, let's say a Rattata is about to use Quick Attack at the same time I am. I think at that point it's either random or tied to speed. I'm not sure. But it's always advantageous to just, you know, have your Pokemon's moves match its typing. And I've always been somebody that prefers that, just because like I mentioned a few episodes ago, I have moderate OCD, so shit like that can kind of bother me. Not like to the same extent of, you know, if I don't check a locked door or, you know, turn on a certain light switch when I enter a room, like to the point where I'm like, it's like a compulsion. It's like a more minor I keep forgetting I have running shoes. It's a more minor compulsion I have. It's like, the Pokemon's moves gotta match its type. It's just gotta. Like, it also just looks nicer because, you know, especially like when the game started having color reflecting on their moves or whatever. Like, when you go into the summary, Thundershock, when you look at it, it shows like electric type, and it's gonna be marked yellow, and I'm like, it just looks nice. I like the colors to match up. So I know some of this stuff sounds really stupid and insane, but that's just kind of, it's how it goes, honestly. And now I gotta walk back to the Pokemon Center because I don't have a revive, because we won't get those items for a bit. It's stuff that only I understand why it frustrates me so much. But also, I think from a gameplay perspective, I'm like, I don't like it when a Pokemon does not learn moves that reflect its type. Speaking of, Nidoran. Nidoran can only learn shit like Poison Sting in this generation, and that reflect its type. It can learn some moves with TMs, like what Brock gave us, which it probably can learn Rock Tomb, honestly. Nidoran here evolves into Nidorina, then Nidoqueen, and its counterpart, Nidoran male, will evolve into Nidorina, then Nidoking. Also can, you know, like learn a lot of moves, but a lot of them are not reflecting on its type. Because I remember the first time I used a Nidoran, I think it was in FireRed. I don't know if it was my first time using a Nidoran or Nidoking at all, or just first time using it in one of these games. For like 90% of the game, I taught him Toxic, a move I rarely used on him. And then I gave him like, I want to say Earthquake. I probably gave him Earthquake, because Nidoking is a very strong Pokemon, and it learns a lot of stuff, like, coverage-wise. You know, it can learn stuff like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, or whatever. In my opinion, moves like that on a Pokemon that is primarily a physical attacker, in my opinion, are worthless. Like, I don't like doing that at all. So much so to where there was a Pokemon that I was going to use on my team. I had, like, a moveset drafted up and everything. But I benched him because I needed access to a move called Ice Beam for like way later in the game, and I was like, this Pokemon's not like a good user of Ice Beam because it's a water flying type, Gyarados, that is primarily like a physical attacker, and normally you can ignore it, but I'm like, but I don't have any other Pokemon in my team that my team draft that has like a good enough special stat and can use Ice Beam. Like, I had good special attackers, but none of them could use Ice Beam. And I was like, Gyarados using Ice Beam is okay, but not great. So that was why I benched Gyarados last minute. But if I ever get to the point where I can play Pokemon Platinum for a Let's Play, I did go ahead and put Gyarados in that team draft, because at that point the physical special split would be there, so he can learn better moves. He still can't really learn any good flying moves. Like, he eventually got access to moves like Hurricane, which it does not benefit from very well, and Bounce, which I don't even know if Gyarados can even learn Bounce anymore. But it's just not a... If you're using Gyarados and you're wanting to use him for being a flying type, you don't use Gyarados. Like, the reason why it's a flying type mainly is because it is a defensive thing. You know, he's water flying, so he resists grass move. That's the whole point. And that's kind of why you would even bother using Gyarados, because of that. Actually, Jigglypuff here is actually catchable or obtainable in this route, I believe. So I might I don't think I'm gonna bother looking for it like while recording, but I think off screen I'm going to, you know, I'm gonna try to catch one just to, you know. You're the worst kind of person, Jigglypuff. You're the worst. Like, luckily, I believe you can only be asleep for 2 to 5 turns. Like, you'll stay asleep the first turn, but after the second turn, your Pokemon can wake up. So, there's that. This is torture. Please. Please, Jigglypuff. Thank you. Good job, Onions. Luckily, you have got to be kidding me. Infatuation. So now, Bulbasaur just will straight up not attack Jigglypuff. That's great. You know, power through it. No feelings, Onions. There we go. That's good. Onions is actually close to evolving. Purlaps won't evolve until we can get a certain item, so. And it's fine, because I don't want to evolve him yet anyway. So, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if that guy can actually fight him. Check these rocks, because a few of them have berries, which are, in this game, hard to come by, especially with some of the events and features that are no longer accessible. You know, you have to have, you can't grow berries anymore, is what I'm trying to tell you. Alright, let's heal up. We don't really necessarily need to keep Beedrill on us, but I'm fine. He can hang out. There is a guy in here that will... Hello there, laddie. Have I got a deal just for you? I'll let you have a secret Pokemon, a Magikarp, for just $500, so you buy it, am I right? Sure. I paid the outrageous price for a Magikarp. But yeah, originally I was gonna just use this Magikarp and level it up and use him as Gyarados, but I'm not, and I don't even know if I'll even like bother trying to catch a Gyarados, but I might as well buy him. It's just one easy part in the Pokedex filled up. I'm gonna check this guy down here real quick. I don't think he actually fights you. Nope. Okay. So, yeah, in between episodes, I will catch, I'm gonna catch any Pokemon that I think I can get on Route 3, mainly just Jigglypuff, and I think Jigglypuff is like the only new Pokemon we can get there, unless you can still catch like Nidorans or something, because we still have not got any of those. But as of right now, we have 12 owned Pokemon, so we're already doing pretty good. So next time on Pokemon FireRed, we are going to go into Mount Moon. I'll see you then.